the end of the season means we get to look back on our crazy predictions from the beginning of the season. Means we get to come up with the team of the season here on the Calcio guys. Adreano, Gianni, I'm Nicholas. How you doing, guys?
Doing good, doing good.
A little tired. Just finished my soccer game, so just relaxing right now.
Oh, how did that go, Gianni?
We lost 7-5. It's unfortunate.
7-5.
It's okay. I was only on for one goal against, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah,
And how many
minus is good
for?
then.
How many for? 2 maybe.
No goals,
Alright.
no assists.
Nah, but I play left back.
Oh, okay. Okay. Maldini over here. As long as you didn't get any yellow cards.
Nah, I didn't. We're good.
Perfect.
Today's episode of the Calcio Guys is proudly brought to you by Display Pro. Transform all your walls and display your collections like never before with their innovative, versatile, convenient, and affordable display frames. Whether you're a collector, a fan, or just someone who wants to show off your personal collections in a new and exciting way, Display Pro has a solution for you. As you guys see that in my Del Piero jersey, so excited to have that up behind me. Adria has the Maldini jersey and Gianni in the corner. You might have to pull it up later, but it's a signed Alessandro Nesta Impact jersey. So thank you to Stephen Moore from Display Pro for sending us these. Great design. You could easily switch out your not your frames, your jerseys at any point. Maybe tomorrow I'll put up my Donnarumma Italy Euro final jersey in honor of Italy in the Nations League. So you could switch them out. Maybe Adria will have to put up an Italy jersey too. But
I'll put on my Insigne jersey. Why not?
yeah,
There we go.
exactly.
Mix and match.
Exactly. Yeah. So Italy is tomorrow, but today we'll talk about the end of the season in Serie A. Just want to look back with you guys. We recorded an episode July 31st, 2022. So almost a year ago. We're June 14th today. So almost a year ago. That's how long the season is, right? And we gave our top four predictions. I don't know if you guys remember who you said for Scudetto.
Not Napoli, that's for sure.
I think I said Inter, if I'm not mistaken.
Exactly.
I was biased and I went the Milan route, if I recall.
But I mean, to repeat
Exactly.
is not a bad call to make.
Yeah. And Nick, I don't know about yours.
Yeah.
I don't know if you had Inter or Milan.
I had Inter.
You had Inter.
Yeah,
Okay.
I had Inter. So, EJ, your top four was Milan, Inter, Juve, Roma. Gianni, top four, Inter, Juve, Milan, Roma. And me too, Inter, Milan, Juve, Roma. So we were very vanilla with our answers, with our predictions
Nothing spicy.
back last July. But honestly, looking back with the Mercato last season, you can't blame ourselves, especially with all the changes that Napoli went through, losing Insigne and Mertens. And who knew about this kid from Georgia, right, Cavara? Obviously, Napoli knew about him. We didn't know too much about him just yet. We didn't think he'd become the MVP of the season. And we were all wrong, and that's okay. That's what sports is about. We can't predict the future, and whoever will predict this year for the Scudetto will be wrong then too. But
we went meds for our predictions. We got two of the four teams in Champions League this coming season with Inter and Milan. So it's the way she goes, and like we said, probably back then, we'll definitely put up our hands and say, you know what, we were wrong, and this is why we have the platform, the podcast, to say the facts and obviously stuff that we're wrong about. So we always say don't take our predictions to the bank, and I guess from those vanilla answers that Nick just pointed out, that's a reason why.
Yeah, exactly. And so we'll if you guys want to do what we normally do, Serie A top 11. I don't know if you guys want to just give it all in one shot, go position by position.
Sure.
Yeah, we'll go position by position. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go
I
position
meant sure towards the last one. Like, yeah, position by position. Sure.
All right, so Nick, kick us off then. Go.
I think we might have all the same player here, but Provedel.
Provedel for myself as well. Yes.
Unanimous Provedel. The guy had, what was it? How many 13 clean sheets?
If not more, 14, I believe.
Let's take a look. I think it was definitely in the double digits.
I saw he had 99 saves and 30 goals against in 38 games. So I don't know exactly how
this
many of those were clean sheets.
and guys, this was a guy that we've said it many times on the podcast. Wasn't that delegated to be the starter from day one. Maximiano comes in, blunder, injury. Providel steps up, and he had I think the season of his life.
Actually,
Um,
I was way off. He had 21 clean sheets out of 30
Holy
games.
shit.
Jesus Christ. Okay, so it
Yeah.
was a lot more than we expected,
Yeah.
obviously. So definitely a kudos to him. I mean, obviously another shot would probably have been, Meret for holding the fort in Napoli's triumph. But I think, like Gianni said, unanimous decision, Provedel, without a doubt.
Defenders. I don't know if you guys like what formation did you guys
I went
choose as
4-3-3
formation?
just to be safe.
4-3-3 as well.
I went 3-5-2 to just because it's easier to choose
Typical
midfielders and
Juventino. Typical Juventino.
Allegri. No, I wanted to choose
Allegri,
three
Conte.
center backs.
Okay.
I wanted to.
Say your center back. Say your center backs then first.
I did not write down my third center back. This is not good. I put Danilo, Kim, and I'll go Romagnoli actually. It's funny, I wrote down Romagnoli as like notable mentions, but I didn't write down third center back. So he's gonna get slotted in as that third center back. Obviously, Kim, part of the best defensive record yet. He was 86% in tackles against players dribbling against him. Danilo had most tackles for defender in the league, 71% tackles against dribbling. And then obviously Romagnoli, second best defense in the league with Lazio. He was a star back there. Another kind of unexpected name, right? For Lazio. Like nobody expected. Look, we just talked about what our top four was. Nobody expected Lazio to be in the top four, and they fly into second. So yeah, I think he deserves a shout there for center back.
Gianni, you?
I went with 4-3-3. I think this is probably the only position where I actually, let's say, quote unquote, followed a formation for 4-3-3. The rest, like my mids and my forwards, are just the three best that I thought. But
Okay.
I went with Maru Rui in the left back. The guy really changed my mentality on things. Was a very key player on the left side for Napoli, along with Kvaratskhelia. Had a phenomenal amount of assists. I'm gonna get the exact number here. Just give me a quick second,
Guys. And this is a guy that Gianni Delicoli on the Calcio guys hated many times
Oh,
for many
man.
years. To see him in his top 11 for team this season, Serie A this season is shocking. So shout out to Mario Rui.
Yeah, so Rui with 6 assists and like he was like really great whenever he was actually able to set up the ball in his 21 games that he started. Kim goes without saying, held the fort. He made guys like freaking Rahmani look good. Cuz that center back pairing, as much as I wanted Scudetto this year, it's not one that's going to be like talked in the record, like unless you're a Napoli fan, but it's not going to be something that's going to be like talked by all fans for the rest of history of Serie A. Romagnoli, because with Provedel to get those 21 clean sheets, obviously you have a back line to help you out. And Romagnoli at Lazio, proud Laziale himself, showcased that, and he's a big part of that. And then right side, I put Di Marco. I know he came a little bit later on, but when he was playing for Inter, you saw him how influential of a player he was. He definitely changed the dynamic, and he's been that player that they've been looking for since guys like Hakimi and stuff since those days. So definitely like I know it's like not a guy who's played the most games, but he definitely deserves his flowers this year. Big reason why they went as far as they did in the Coppa Italia and as far as they did in Champions League. So those are my four in the back.
Yeah, good shots. I mean, myself as well. I went like Gianni. I went 4-3-3. Or if you want to say 4-2-3-1, however you want to fucking label it, I don't care. For me, my back line, going from left to right to left back, for me it was a toss up between a guy like Di Marco and Teo Hernandez. But for me, Teo Hernandez, even on his bad games and his bad moments, is still for me the best left back in the league. So he slots in for me on that left flank. But Di Marco is really a close second for me. And as a Milan fan, saying that about an Inter player is a bit strange. But honestly, guys, take your biases off. Di Marco, hell of a player, not only for Inter, but hopefully for the Azzurri as well. That we'll hopefully see for these next moments. But yeah, Teo Hernandez, just how dominant he is, and we've always said it on the show, on that left flank. He's second to none in that position. So for me, Teo Hernandez on the left back. My center back duo, again, I got an honorable mention. These guys said Romagnoli, and for me, Romagnoli could have been in there too. I'm going to go with his partner, Casale, as another honorable mention for me, because like the guy said, one of the best defenses, if not the best defense in the league for Lazio. Casale and Romagnoli, that duo, that Italian duo, was really, really top. So for me, he still slots in as an honorable mention because I'm going to go with Bastoni and Kim Min-jae. For me, two rocks in the center back positions, guys who can give you two different aspects of defending. A guy like Bastoni can bring you more than just the typical defensive stats. He brings assist. He can really right foot with that left foot as well. So, and like the guy said, Kim Min-jae just stellar from top to bottom. As soon as he came in to the last game, the best center back in the league, and rightfully so. And another surprise. Many surprises with this Napoli team, like we said all year. And Kim Min-jae is another one to add to that list. So for those are my defensive pairings at the center back positions. On the right flank, Napoli's Capitano, Giovanni De Lorenzo, for me, slots in on that side. Not only being able to score goals in crucial moments, being able to provide assist, but just being the Capitano for Napoli, of this kind of new guard, this new generation of Napoli players. I think he took on the role brilliantly and, really stepped up. And again, I'm not going to make these comparisons. I know Spalletti did in the heat of excitement, un capitano come Diego. I'm not going to go that far because I know that the Maradona is sacred in Naples. But for me, Di Lorenzo, just like I said, for Kim Min-jae, another asset on that defense. And honestly, another guy that like Teo Hernandez can go up the pitch and provide you more than just those typical tackles one, duels one type of defensive stats. Provides something extra. So for me, that's kind of how I want to see my defense, and that's how I round it out. Teo Hernandez, Bastoni, Kim Min-jae, and Di Lorenzo on the right flank.
Midfielders, I'm kind of cheating because I went 5, so I went 5 in midfield, and that includes 2 wing backs / wingers.
Okay.
You'll see why I'm kind of cheating. I put my 2 wingers. I put Lukman and Leao. Lukman, very underrated season. We've talked about him in the past. Just how underrated of a season he's had. 13 goals. 6 assists, and very under the radar, in a season where Kvara comes in, steals a show, gets MVP in his first year, and Lukman, I mean, he's definitely not Kvara, but Atalanta is happy with their purchase as much as Napoli was happy with their purchase, right? Yeah, so him on one side, and then Leao on the other. In the mid, easy names to go with: Barella, Sergei Milinkovic-Savic, and guys, the last pick. I wrote down one name originally, and I think you're gonna laugh at me, but then I kind of want to switch to another name. I don't know if you guys want to guess who I wrote down originally.
Rabiot.
No. He was good, but not.
Yeah, I was about to say he wasn't that
consistent
bad.
enough.
Yeah, like it would have been a bad of a shout.
No.
5th name?
Is a Juve player?
No.
Midfielder is what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
Barella?
I already said Barella.
Barella, SMS, and
Cristante. I put Cristante / Lobotka.
Oh man.
So if I'm building a team, you need that holding midfielder here. And honestly, Cristante, he had a good season. His stats in terms of tackles, defensive plays, they were up there in for that. And Gianni, you're the Roma fan. I mean, you could defend me here. He was really good. He was solid.
This year, Cristante definitely played better. Lord Byron actually played solid. Like I know we Alex on Twitter, she was she tries like underrated ballers, and she put Cristante first, and everyone started kind of like roasting her, but she kind of does have a point. Cristante played very well in his role, was a reliable player for Mourinho, and was one of the more consistent Roma players this season. And a team full of inconsistencies that actually shines as a bright spot. So Cristante would have been deserving. And for Lobotka would have been a great shout as well because Lobotka was a good defensive midfielder that Napoli needed in the back end when Anguissa wasn't playing because Dembele was not it. Like it was just a lateral move whenever uh, like Anguissa got off and he got replaced by Dembele. It was just like somebody just to fill in the void. But Lobotka was the guy that, if he wasn't playing, you kind of felt it along with Anguissa. So he was part of that, and definitely deserves to get some recognition for his hard work. I'm not saying he's like fantastic midfielder, but in terms of his role, one of the best in the league. In his role specifically,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
No, exactly. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking more of a defensive midfielder for this
yeah,
third midfielder, as if I was building a team.
yeah. I'm not saying he's the best. I'm saying one of,
No.
one of. There's
Yeah.
plenty of other options too. Before people start flaming me.
So Johnny, your midfielder?
My mid, I went a bit more offensive. I put Dybala in the mid. I put Milinkovic Savic, and I put Lookman as well. Those were the three mids that I put in my midfield because just for their offensive performances. Dybala specifically, like when he wasn't playing that, even though he didn't have a long season, but you saw the difference on the pitch when he was playing for Roma versus the games that he wasn't playing for Roma, to the point where the whole team depended on him. And that's what most valuable player stands for. It's the player that, like if he's not playing for their team, that team does nothing. And Dybala was a very, very key player for Roma and a very key midfielder for the team slash forward, depending on where Mourinho used him. But like I kind of cheated and put him a bit back because, or else I would have like five forwards. I think this year was the year of forwards in Serie A. It wasn't like the midfield crop wasn't the strongest, whereas previous years I had formations where I did a 3-5-2 because the mid was just crazy. This year I felt it was more forward heavy, but that's why I decided to sneak him back there. Other players that I wanted to put in that midfield was Barella. Another player I wanted to put was Rabiot. I felt Rabiot also deserved a shout because, we as much as we make fun of him and his injury history, this year he was playing for that raise. He was playing for that promotion of a contract. So Tonali was another choice that I was considering, but he got phased out. And another choice I was considering, because like I said, just forward heavy, and I could have argued you could use him as like a mid slash like wing back, like Liao, but Liao was just at one point phased out too much for me to put him in there. But the games that he phased in, he was miles like best player on the pitch, as you can tell in the game, like the Champions League games in the quarterfinals versus Napoli, and basically Milan's late push at the end of the season. He was streets ahead of the rest of the competition. So. Mhm.
Yeah, no, for me, I went more traditional in terms of position by position. I kind of wasn't like the guys and kind of went off the rails a bit, but I kind of stayed a bit more traditional. For me, the midfield trio that I have, and all good shots, by the way. I mean, Dybala for me, fantastic player this season. Doesn't get into mine, but like Johnny said, I think he nailed it on the head. Totally depended on Dybala, and Dybala really, when he was called upon, which was pretty much every time he was fit, I think answered the bell to his best of his abilities. But another honorable mention I kind of want to name that wasn't mentioned, Coop Miners from Atalanta and Amrabat from Fiorentina, two guys that I just think give two different aspects to the midfield position, but again, have just been solid even when they're not on the stat sheets. Obviously, Coop Miners, some crazy goals, some assists. Obviously, a guy like Amrabat, maybe not, but just from his run from the World Cup on till this season, he's just been, lights out. Doesn't get into a top 11, but again, an honorable mention. For me, my midfield trio, Tonali, SMS, and Lobotka. For me, maybe some of them didn't have the best period from match day 1 to match day 38, but I think they flourished and had their moments throughout the season for sure. Tonali for me in Milan's midfield is crucial. Even with a guy like Benacer, when he went down later on in the season, he had to step up. For me, always a positive, more positive than negative this season for me in terms of a guy like Tonali. SMS, same idea. He always seems to sneak into my top 11 team this season, year in and year out. Because for me, he's constantly been the best midfielder in Serie A. Would love to have him on Milan. I don't know if that's too much to ask for, but just top from just from every moment. I know he had moments this season that wasn't his typical SMS self. For me, that's fine. He still sneaks into this top 11. If he stays or if he goes, come in this summer Mercato, remains to be seen. But even though he kind of dragged off a bit at the end, there's I don't know. For me, it takes a lot to convince me to say otherwise. For SMS, he's always going to be in my top 11 when he's fit. So that. And then Lobotka, like I said, another player. The guys kind of sneaked in or didn't sneak into their lineups. For me, was the centerpiece of that midfield for Napoli, and for their Scudetto push, a lot of the balls went through him. Kind of the maestro, and kind of the guy who recuperate balls as well in that midfield. For me, I've always said it on this show, and I sound like a broken record every time I do say it. But games are won and lost in the midfield, and for me, Lobotka was a centerpiece of that. So he sneaks into my team this season alongside Tonali and SMS.
And finally, attackers. I think this is where we might have a lot of the same, but there might be one or two different. I only have 2 attackers on my team. I wish I had more. I wish I could, have 4 or 5 because I forget who said it now. January Adreano. It was the year of the attacker. A lot of deserving players, but I just went with the Napoli duo Kvara and Osimhen. I was close to going Osimhen and Lautaro. But yeah,
that would have been criminal to move out to Kvara.
Yeah,
would have been criminal.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Like he wasn't consistent.
Or I would have if I'm gonna play like football manager with your squad, if you wanted to keep Lautaro in, I would have maybe taken out, and this pains me to say because he's in mine, but I would have taken out Leao and put Kvara in the Leao spot. But again, it's all preference, right? So
I guess, yeah. I mean, Lautaro had 27. You know what? I'm changing my answer. I'm going Osimhen Lautaro. Lautaro had 21 goals, 6 assists, just in Serie A alone, plus a bunch in Champions League. Kvara, what he did have more was the assist. He had 12 goals, 10 assists. But I just don't think Kvara was consistent enough. He really dipped off in the spring, basically after February, whereas Lautaro picked it up. Maybe it's a recency bias too, just because Lautaro did pick it up at this point and he really helped the team in Champions League and stuff. But yeah, I don't even the fact, maybe we'll give like an MVP. If you guys want, we could give like our MVPs for the season. Even the fact that Kvara won league MVP, like kind of shocked me. I think it should be Osimhen. For me, he was the most valuable player. Yes, Gianni? We don't hear you.
It's because they don't like to give 2 awards to the same player.
Yeah, because you won best attacker. You won best attacker, right?
They never do that.
Just flip it then, or just give him best young player. Give Lautaro best attacker and give Osimhen MVP.
Yeah, but then afterwards you can have Juventini bitch and moan about Fagioli.
Fuck him.
If Kvara Give Cavara one best young player.
Well,
I
I
think
mean,
everybody would
I mean, the
complain.
whole
He
league
just
just
turned
seems.
22.
Everybody thinks the whole Serie A is against Juve. It's out to get Juve. So I mean, like,
Oh
it
yes, yes,
that would
yes,
add to the narrative, So I'm just
yes,
saying.
yes. Because uh, um, taking away 15 points and minus 9 points. Yes, it's all made up because we got Fajoli as the young player over. Uh, okay, but
Yeah.
anyways, we're deviating.
No, no, we're just having some fun. That's all it is.
Lautaro and Ozyman are my attackers for this team.
Johnny, you?
I actually did not put Kavisha at all in my top three attackers because
Jesus.
of that reason as well for those inconsistencies. Um, I agree with Nick that it should have been inverse. If you want to put best forward, you give it to Kavisha Kvaratskhelia. Then for MVP of the year, you give it to Osimhen. But Serie A just likes to sometimes give these awards and like just for whatever political reason. But for what they meant for their team. Martinez is one of them. Martinez actually did better than what we all expected. He wasn't that small team merchant as we all expected him to be, as he usually is. So Martinez is one. Osimhen is obviously the other one. Capo Cagnonieri. If you make your three forwards and he's not part of the three forwards, then you're doing it wrong. You're just trying to be a hipster.
Hmm.
And actually, my third choice was Bulaya Dia. Dia basically scored 16 goals for a team like Salernitana. I think it was about he's like 2.5 or 3 goals higher than his expected goals, meaning that he really outperformed expectations and what was set out for him. Uh, very very big surprise. Remains to be seen if a team is going to go after him or not. Uh, depending on if he's going to be good to handle, I guess, quote unquote, bigger teams, playing for bigger teams, because Salernitana is a great fit for him right now. But
Hmm.
you know, one of the main reasons why like a team like Salernitana just basically keeps on staying up. Especially it's not it's not a big club at all, not in amount. It's alternate calling it small, but I'm just saying obviously in in your like realm of competition of which you have to face, obviously you're not one of the bigger clubs, so it's nice to have a bright spot like that. Scoring 16 out of their 48 goals is a good percentage. So I put him as my third forward. I think was he
Uh,
second? Oh, he was third in the league in goals, right?
yeah, I'm
Yeah, behind
honestly I'm happy. I had a feeling you take him, knowing you in the past how we've always done these. You always take uh the names that not
the
everyone goes for. So I was hoping
yeah.
when you said there was a third forward and you said you didn't put Cavara, I was like in my head I was like, oh, okay, it's gonna be Boulay Dia because
Yeah.
I would have mentioned him if none of you mentioned him. But thank you, Gianni.
Yeah.
Now leave it to Johnny to pick out the names that go against the grain. He did it with Bremer way back when, and not too long after he wins best defender in the league in Serie A, and makes a big money move to Juve. So call him Nostradamus, call him whatever you want. I don't know, but Johnny's got a knack for these little finds. For the point. Hopefully, Salernitana can, because I think he's a loan option to buy, and hopefully they pick up the option. I would like to see him back in Serie A.
It's true. We discussed this a couple of episodes ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I'm pretty sure that's what it was. That's how the contract was set up. So, if it's not Salernitana that picks up the option because of financial reasons or what have you, I would hope for another Serie A team, maybe a bit higher up on the table. Maybe I don't know, like an Udinese type of team, Sassuolo. I don't know, something like that. Fiorentina maybe. Um, just to see if he can take those incremental steps to maybe a bigger team in the future. But yeah, I would like to see him back in Serie A, third best scorer in the league from a team that I don't remember exactly on the points, but just survived as well. So chapeau obviously to Diab. But for me, guys, it's simple in the attack. My three attackers. I am putting Kvaratskhelia. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and try to convince you guys otherwise because you guys still get points. But to plead my case, I mean, guys, we said it many, many times. from the fucking Georgian league for 10 million euros. The guy's become the biggest talking point in European football. Double-digit goals and assists, league MVP. For me, these things are not stuff to look past. In my personal opinion, the way I see it. So for me, he slots in the attack alongside obviously his teammate Capo Canoniere, as we said, Victor Osimhen. There's not much more to say about Osimhen. Really stepped up this game. Really became that focal point in the attack, and really, finally showed his goal scoring prowess, because I think it was 28 goals on the season. It just crazy just to see his development too, from when he arrived till now. He just made strides forward, so that's a no-brainer for me. And then again, maybe I'm going to go with my bias again. It's possible. You guys can probably call me out on this, but I am going to go with Rafael Leao as well in my attack. For me, I said it with Theo. I said it many times on this show, but just the impact that he brings, and like we said, without an Osimhen, without a Kvaratskhelia, without the top players at top clubs, I mean, sometimes you see a bit of a dip. For me, it's a huge dip when Leao's not in the picture. Getting double-digit goals again this campaign. Obviously had his moments, brighter than others throughout this season, and kind of obviously maybe a dip from MVP caliber last season, but still for me, he's a top player. He's one of the best players in our league, and just the brilliant moments that he had throughout the year, if it be against Napoli in the league, in Champions League, if it be just Tottenham in the group stage in Champions League down the stretch for Milan in this season. Just an incredible year, even though it had its flaws in it as well. But for me, that's my trident: Kvaratskhelia, Victor Osimhen, and Rafael Leao to wrap up the attack.